Good morning everyone, welcome to Crack Grade B to another session of ethics for CSIR SO ASO 2024. So how's your preparation going on and what are your queries? I will take at the end of the session. First of all, please clarify once, am I audible to all of you? Good morning Anudeep. Prem, I will take queries at the end of the session. This is your first class, means what? You haven't studied ethics yet. Management, okay. Management query I will take in management session, okay? And this is class for ethics. Rishabh, I have already provided you Crook's notes only of ethics and management. पूरा सिलेबस करने जाओगे तो बहुत बड़ा है, जो इम्पोर्टेंट है उसमें से भी कुछ कट करना है, फिर तो बहुत रिस्की हो जाएगा, है ना? Prem, still I will take your query. Okay, all the queries related to other subject I will take at the end of the session, and I will give you 10 minutes. Okay, so first let's quickly cover the syllabus first. Okay, I hope you got the PDF and I hope you try to study all the PDFs that I have provided you. So first is we were doing the Western philosophers and now we are moving towards the Stoicism. Okay, so it was developed by a Greek philosopher which was Zeno of Citium around 300 BC, that is exactly around 334 BC I think. Okay, exactly 334, but you do not have to remember this year, so approximately around 300 BC, and it teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means of overcoming destructive emotions. Okay, so basically the Zeno of Citium, his initial encounter with philosophy came through a book by Xenophon. Okay, he basically started learning philosophy by Xenophon. Okay, and it does not seek to extinguish emotions completely, but rather seek to transform them by a resolute asceticism, that is voluntary abstinence from the worldly pleasure. So basically, first of all, it rejects the Plato's ideal form. His teachings was basically focused on that we should actually make ourselves absent, means we should not give so much value to the worldly pleasure. Okay, like what Epicurus said and Plato said that there is an ideal form. Stoics denied the reality of Platonic forms or the concept of ideal world. So Stoicism believed that there is no ideal world, so they rejected the philosophy of Plato, and they also rejected the Platonic view that mind is the source of knowledge and senses of errors and illusion. They believe true knowledge comes from senses that get imprinted from the mind. So basically you have to remember these points, that what is the basis, what is the foundation of any philosophy. Okay, so they basically rejected the Platonic form of ideal view. They say that the true knowledge comes from the sensory, that we have senses, these are our senses, whatever we perceive through our senses, that is the source of the actual knowledge in philosophy. Okay, now what are the philosophers? So Stoicism was developed by Zeno of Citium, and under it there are various philosophers. The first is Seneca. He was a Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman and a tutor and advisor to Nero. There can be a 1-mark question that who among the following were the advisor to the Nero? Why Nero is important for Stoic? Because for Seneca, basically there was a painting that is very famous related to the Stoic, because he was forced to take his own life with the allegation that was not true, that he plotted any conspiracy to assassinate Nero. Nero was a king, okay? So there was some allegation that he was involved in conspiracy that was resulted in the assassination of Nero, and he was forced to take his own life. His stoic and calm society has become so famous for numerous painting, and as a tragedian, he was known as a tragedian. He is best known for his work Medea and Thesis. So basically, if any question can come from Seneca, they can ask that which of the following philosophers is known for the calm society. Okay, so there can be a 1 mark question, because any concept that is interesting about Seneca is this only, apart from his philosophies and work. 2 important works he have done is Medea and Thesis, and he was advisor to Nero. Okay, clear? Good morning, trader. Next is Epictetus. He was born a slave in about AD 55 in Roman Empire, and with permission from his owner, he studied Stoic philosophy under master. Name of master is important. Musonius Rufus. He founded a philosophical school teaching Stoicism in Greece, and one of his students, Marcus Aurelius, later became the emperor of the Rome. So मैंने सिर्फ इतने ही पॉइंट्स इंक्लूड किए हैं इनमें जिन पे क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. सो जो ये आपके एपिक्टेटस पे अगर कोई 1 मार्क क्वेश्चन बनेगा स्पेशली फॉर द एग्जाम ऑफ CSIR, तो ये बन सकता है कि उनके कौन से डिसिपल थे, उनके कौन से स्टूडेंट थे जो बाद में जाके एम्परर ऑफ रोम बने. ठीक है, ही वॉज Marcus Aurelius. Okay, clear? Yes, names are, see, once you will understand what they have done and what were their, okay, one thing I can do for all of you is that I can make a flow chart, okay, and I can give a 1-line explanation of what they did. That's what you want for the revision. ठीक है, लेकिन मैं आज नहीं दूंगी, मैं 3-4 दिन में दे दूंगी. I will make a flow chart for management as well as for ethics. Okay, okay. Do you want that or you will do on your own? हाँ, meditations. पाई ने पूरा ethics बहुत अच्छे से कर रखा है. I'm very impressed. Meditations was. So Marcus, he was born in AD 121. He is considered one of the greatest Roman emperors to have ever lived. He wrote his journal during dull moments in a war campaign, and his journal became the book Meditations, which contains his Stoic philosophy. So nothing much in Stoicism. Basically, they rejected the ideal form of Plato, and they focus less on worldly pleasure. Okay, they seems that the only way of actual knowledge is the sensory experiences that we gain through our eyes, ears, nose and our mouth. Okay, that were the true knowledge sources, and they were philosophers. जो भी उनके बारे में important और crux point थे जहाँ से question बन सकते हैं वो मैंने डाल दिए. ठीक है. Now उनके ethics क्या थे? Indifference to external events. So the goal of Stoicism is freedom from passion through the pursuit of reason. That is and apatheia or apathy. However, the meaning of these words has changed a lot since their origin coinage. The passion in the ancient sense meant anguish or suffering. Passion यहाँ पे वो वाला passion नहीं है जो आज हम use करते हैं. जो Stoicism use करते थे वो कहते हैं passion is another word for suffering, and apatheia in its ancient sense means objective, unemotional and having a clear judgment. So Stoicism thus teaches people to have indifferent and a passive reaction to external events. They basically want them to reduce their emotion or get absent from their emotion. So you should become unemotional and to the external events, not to the internal events, to the external events, and they teach people how to become indifferent of the events, okay, and stay in a passive position, okay, passive reaction. Live according to nature. This is basically live according to nature is supreme, and we should ultimately live according to nature so that there can be no conflict of interest. Okay, since everything in universe operates according to natural laws, except suffering in life. Stoicism bears a similarity to the ethical teachings of Buddhism, which is, see, this is very important. ऐसी कौन सी philosophy है जो एक तो golden mean किसने दिया था वो, ठीक है, that is also based on the Buddhism, and this particular philosophy is also based on Buddhism, that is accept of sufferings. All life has suffering. Suffering is rooted in passion and desire. Happiness is freedom from passion. And fourth is moral restraint and self-discipline are the means by which one becomes free from suffering. So which one philosophy is based on the Buddhism's four principles, that is Stoicism, accept the suffering in life. Fourth is importance of wisdom. It involves improving the individual ethical and moral well-being by having a will, which is agreement with nature. They believe that the chief virtue from which all virtues arises wisdom. So they put wisdom over virtues, and the only source from which all the knowledge and everything arises is wisdom. So wisdom is supreme for Stoicism, and all four cardinal values, that is courage, prudence, self-control and justice, originate from wisdom only. They believe in egalitarian society. Okay, egalitarian we have already done. So they keep the slaves of the country equal to the sons of God, and there is no differentiation because they believe in egalitarian society where everyone is treated rationally. And rational observance of laws. Stoicism holds that we are often driven by the necessity to follow the laws of the world. So however, we should not merely obey the law but follow the law. They basically want us, that is the citizens of the country or the followers of this particular philosophy, not just to obey the laws, not just to respect the laws, but implement those laws in your life also. Okay, not just read our teachings, implement those teachings in your life also. That is what they think. Seventh is reduce expectation to check anger. Seneca had said that anger is not just an irrational outburst over which we have no control. He saw anger as a philosophical problem. There can be a 1 mark question on this also. Which philosopher viewed anger as a philosophical problem? Seneca. Seneca थे जिन्होंने anger को एक philosophical problem की तरह देखा था, and he said that anger arises from holding overly optimistic ideas about the world, which leads to unrealistic expectation. It basically means that we are expecting from the world, that is the external world, to be good with us. If we are expecting them to be good with us and they are treating us badly, it will result in anger and frustration. So Seneca has said that basically the expectations related to the outside world and their disappointment, and when they are not fulfilled, those expectations, it results in anger and frustration of the person. Clear? Good. Okay, I will provide in 2-3 days. Okay. Clear है यहाँ तक सबको? अच्छा, एक सप्लीमेंट नोट्स भी मिलेंगे एथिक्स के, वो भी मैं दे दूँगी 2-3 दिन में. उसमें क्या है कि जो आपके कंसेप्ट्स हैं जो थोड़े बहुत कवर में नहीं है, मतलब कि क्योंकि सिलेबस ऐसा है पता नहीं वो क्या दे दें, ठीक है. तो जो 1 लाइन में मैं एक और टर्म्स रिलेटेड एक और PDF दूँगी, जैसे हेडोनिज्म है उससे रिलेटेड क्या क्या टर्म्स हैं वो भी मैं दूँगी, ठीक है, एज अ सप्लीमेंट नोट्स. जब आपके पास लास्ट में टाइम हो तब आप पढ़ लेना. ओके, ताकि आपको इतना तो आइडिया हो कि मान लो कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ गया जिसमें आप ऑड वन आउट कर सकते हो, उसमें तो कर लो, है ना, ठीक है. Knowledge comes from senses. Stoic asserts that senses are constantly, this we have already discussed, as this is the basis or foundation of Stoicism, that the primary source of knowledge is our senses, and that's why they believe that receiving sensation which pass from objects through the sense of mind, where they leave an impression, and the mind is able to approve or reject an impression and differentiate it and tell us if it was the true representation of reality or not. So basically what we perceive from our senses, then it will go to our mind, and mind will rationalize the particular statement or particular experience and tell us that whether it is true or not. Next is concept of God. Universal. Universe is a material but reasoning substance which can be called God or nature. So very important thing is that they divided it into two classes. The passive, which is related to the matter, and the active, which is living, which acts on the passive matter. So souls of people and animals emanate from this primordial fire, that is God, and the world was one fire and would become fire again. So basically this says that the God is basically a fire and we are the part of that particular God, okay, and we have a fire inside us also which is resembled, and this world was once a fire only and it will become a fire again. मतलब पहले भी एक fire की तरह था ये world और अब फिर से fire हो जाएगा, and we are the part of that supreme fire, that is God, okay. Materialism. All things are material including words and God, and emotions too are material because they have physical manifestation like smiling. So it is saying that even emotions are materialistic. जो materialistic चीज़ें हैं वो तो हैं, but emotions भी materialistic है. Why? Because we express our emotions through the external expression, that is like smiling, the anger, the other expressions, okay. So the mind or soul is material because the body produces thoughts or sense of impression in the soul. For example, if we are hungry, we have anger. So with every emotion there is some outer external expression. That's why our emotions also the result of materialism only, okay. And they believed in monism. 1 mark question from here also, because nobody talked about monism, okay. They believe that all the world is one, issuing from one principle, and that a divine reality pervades the whole universe. They basically believe that there is a supreme soul, that is God, which they resemble to a fire, and we are the small particles of that particular fire only, right? Clear? Can we move on to the medieval period philosophers? Okay, Saint Augustine Hippo. Please give me a minute. So Saint Augustine Hippo was basically a very influential figure in Christianity, okay, in Christianity. And he was the person who said that if love is the expression of showing that we have some ethics, and the supreme love is that we do with the God, okay, that is the supreme love, and it is the expression that we should have. And the humans are inherited with sin because of Adam and Eve. Have you heard the story of Adam and Eve that was told in Christianity? Yes, angry Maverick, I'm not well, that's why the classes are not continuous, okay, but I'm trying to teach because exam is near. एडम ईव का स्टोरी सबने सुना है. तो बेसिकली जो ऑगस्टिन हिप्पो हैं वो ये कह रहे थे कि जो ह्यूमंस हैं दे कैन नॉट बी फ्री फ्रॉम सिन, बिकॉज जो एडम एंड ईव्स जो पहले के ह्यूमंस थे जिनकी वजह से ह्यूमंस क्रिश्चियनिटी बिलीव करती कि आज एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. सो एडम एंड ईव ने ओरिजिनली डिसोबे किया था गॉड को, एंड दे एट एप्पल, एंड दैट्स वाई वी आर इनहेरिटेंटली बॉर्न विद द सिन, ओके, एंड वी शुड नॉट डिसोबे द गॉड. And Augustine was acquainted with a version of Plato's philosophy, and he developed the Platonic idea of the rational soul into a Christian view in which humans are essentially souls using their bodies as a means to achieve their spiritual ends. Okay, so basically he particularly believed that body are just means to achieve our goals, the supreme goals that we have, and the ultimate objective remains happiness as in Greek ethics. But Augustine conceived of happiness as consisting of the union of the soul with the God after body has died. So who believed that the union or the happiness is a particular thing, that there is a unification of our human soul with God, after our death? He was Augustine Hippo. He gave the concept of the just war also. Just war, basically a concept in which he says that there are strict conditions and the war should always be on moral grounds or ethical grounds, and if it is necessary only then there should be a war, otherwise it will be considered as sin only. Okay. Forbidden fruit. Yes. Okay, just war theory I've already explained. This is basically developed by Augustine Hippo, outlining the conditions under which warfare could be morally justified. He emphasized that war should be a last resort undertaken for a just cause waged with the right intention and limited scope. Next is Renaissance period and the early modern period. This is basically falls between 14th to 17th century approximately. Okay. Niccolo Machiavelli. So Niccolo, you can only remember Niccolo. Okay, Niccolo, and this particular his surname, that is Machiavelli, was an Italian diplomat, author, philosopher and historian who lived during Renaissance. He is best known for his political treatise, The Prince, Two Principles, written in 1513 but not published until 1532. Very important statement. He wrote The Prince. He was basically known for this particular The Prince, and it was written in 1513 but was not published till 1532. Okay. Here are some key aspects of his life and work. Political thought. So basically his political thought was realpolitik. Realpolitik is basically that he believed that the survival of the state and survival of the basically the king or the queen is more important than morality. Okay, individual morality. This is a pragmatic approach to politics that prioritizes effectiveness over morality. I have said that the survival of state, he placed the survival of state more important than the individual morality. And in The Prince, he argues that rulers should be willing to use unscrupulous means such as deception, violence if necessary, to maintain power and secure the state's well-being. So he is justifying that the deception, any kind of cheating or any kind of maybe showing disloyalty to person is of use and are justified in politics if they result in the state's well-being. Okay, this perspective earned him a reputation as a cynical and immortal thinker. Very, very important. If I talk about his out of his all views, his real political view is very important, from which question can come. Okay. Mangaldeep, I will answer these queries after I finish this particular topic. Okay, I will take your queries. Okay, don't worry. statecrafts and diplomacy. So Machiavelli also wrote extensively on statecraft and diplomacy, drawing on his own experience as a Florentine official. Florentine official, basically a republic in Italy, okay, and he advocated for strong leadership, military preparedness, and effective governance. This is what he believed in, that there should be a strong leadership, effective governance, and military preparedness. His ideas influenced political thought for centuries and continue to be debated today. This was his military or diplomacy view. And literary contribution के क्या थे? The Prince. Machiavelli was a prolific writer who produces plays, poems. अच्छा, इतने strong views होने के बाद भी of violence and deception and showing disloyalty, he was still a poet. See, मतलब he has some emotion. That's why he can write poetry also. Historical works and other political treatises. His writing is known for its wit, clarity, and directness. Basically it was direct. Wit, which is basically that doing what that you are able to do. This is basically the kind of willingness only that you are showing. Okay, clear? His real politic view is very important, okay, in which there is K in the last, okay. रियल ऐसे भी पूछा जा सकता है कि जो रियल पॉलिटिक व्यू है ये किसने दिया था या ये क्या कहता है, ठीक है, क्योंकि यही एक इकलौती चीज़ है इनके पूरे मैकियावेली की ethics contribution में, which is different from other philosophers, and it is very off track. If we talk about other philosophers, they do not want deceptions and they do not want war, but this particular thinker, or you can say philosopher, is supporting the war and violence just because for the survival of the state. Okay, clear? Clear, okay. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that Machiavelli is more like Kautilya. Better, I'm better. Okay, so let's study the Thomas Hobbes. So he was born in April 1588 in England, and his first published piece was Short Tract on First Principles. See, in this piece of work, he basically taught about empirism and materialism, and you do not need to remember everything, but he basically argued that there should be simplicity. There should be, if we talk about materialism, they focused on materialism, but what is different from other things in this particular piece of work is that in this particular piece of work it is said that mathematics can be used as a foundation to explain any problem or any knowledge. Mathematics can be used as a foundation to explain knowledge. Okay, ये इन्होंने इसमें कहा था, ये सब्जेक्ट याद रख लेना, किसने कहा था, किसमें कहा था और क्या कहा था, देख लो एक बार. ठीक है. Okay, so it was Thomas Hobbes who said in his first piece of work that mathematics can be used as a foundation to explain knowledge. And second thing is that they focused on materialism, that everything is based on matter. Simplicity, they were focused on simplicity. And empiricism पे भी उनका focus था, ठीक है. और the very important thing that they focused on materialistic view of things as our perception. They basically argued about the perception, that one situation can be seen from different perspective by different individual. That's why it's also known for a paradox that we'll discuss in this slide only. So Thomas Hobbes made a significant contribution to the field of ethics, primarily through his groundbreaking work Leviathan, and his approach was unique and controversial, influencing ethical thoughts for centuries. Okay, so his first law was natural law. Hobbes rejected the notion of God-given morality and instead proposed a set of natural laws derived from human nature and self-preservation. So basically he believed that there is no such law that is given by God. We make law, we make social contract through our perceptions only, okay, and there is nothing like natural law. Like seeking pleasure, avoiding pain are not inherently moral, but guide individual towards action necessary for their survival. Okay, so he basically argued that there is nothing like God-given morality, and whatever morals we have, these are basically because we want to survive in a particular society. That's why we are guiding or following those moralities or ethics. Okay. Next is state of nature. In his famous state of nature concept, Hobbes described life without government as nasty, British and short, and he depicts a world of constant conflict and fear where individuals compete for resources and security. See, ये जो आपके थॉमस हॉब्स थे ना, he is very famous for this particular contrasting view, that is he believed in monarchy. ये मोनार्की को सपोर्ट करते थे, ठीक है. क्यों करते थे? इन्होंने बोला था अगर हम सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जाएंगे और हम ये ट्राई करेंगे कि सबका बेनिफिट और कोई सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे और सर्वाइव करने की कोशिश करेंगे इवन विद द गवर्नमेंट एंड पब्लिक, तो हमेशा हम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और फियर में रहेंगे. कैसे? इन्होंने ये एक्सप्लेन किया था कि मान लो ये गवर्नमेंट है आपकी, ठीक है, आपने एक सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया, ये गवर्नमेंट है और ये आपकी पब्लिक है. आपने इनके साथ सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया, मतलब फॉर योर सर्वाइवल. ओके, now what you are giving this public, this government is basically doing what? Government do what for public? So basically these public first will give power to the government. Okay, they will give power to the government. How? They will elect a person who will protect their rights. So this government will protect the rights of people. This is the society जो कि एक social contract में होनी चाहिए. But still the Thomas said that we are living in a constant conflict and fear. Why? Because if this particular government will misuse their power, पावर के मिसयूज़ के हम हमेशा फियर में रहेंगे. मिसयूज़ ऑफ पावर जो पब्लिक है, और ये किस में रिजल्ट करेगी? या तो ये गवर्नमेंट को रिप्लेस कर देगी, पब्लिक इन रिएक्शन आइदर विल रिप्लेस द गवर्नमेंट और थ्रो द गवर्नमेंट. ओके, सो एक कॉन्स्टेंट स्टेट रहेगा माइंड में जहाँ पे फियर और कन्फ्लिक्ट रहेगा लोगों में. ठीक है, इफ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. सो दैट्स व्हाई ही बिलीव्ड इन द कंप्लीट मोनार्की. राइट. Protection, right? Now this is a social contract theory. This we have discussed that to escape the brutal state of nature, Hobbes argues that individuals enter into a social contract, surrendering some of their natural liberties to a strong authority, that is government, in exchange for peaceful security, and this sovereign has absolute power to enforce the laws and maintain order. That's why he warned that there should be absolute power with this monarch so that they can maintain discipline and order in the society. Justification of morality, according to Hobbes, It is not absolute right and wrong, but about following the laws established by the sovereign, and these laws promote the common good and prevent the return to the chaos of the state of nature. Okay. So it's basically, his justification of morality is basically that absolute right and wrong is nothing, and the law established by the sovereign, these laws should promote common good. Now there is a very famous paradox, that is ship of Theseus paradox. This was given by Hobbes, and Theseus, the mythical Greek hero, sails his trusty ship through countless adventures. तो बेसिकली इस पैराडॉक्स में क्या है, एक शिप है जो एक एडवेंचर पे उतरता है, काउंटलेस एडवेंचर्स पे उतरता है, और ये थीसिस एक ग्रीक मिथिकल हीरो का शिप है, एंड ओवर टाइम द शिप्स वुडन पार्ट्स वेयर आउट एंड नीड रिप्लेसिंग. Each plank, sail and oar is eventually swapped for a new one until no original piece remains. Is this still the same ship of Theseus? तो ये पैराडॉक्स ये बताता है कि जब ये शिप वेयर एंड टेयर के थ्रू इसका एक एक पार्ट हम चेंज कर रहे हैं. पहले एक ओरिजिनल शिप था जिसने बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेलिंग की, थीसिस का शिप था, ये एक ग्रीक हीरो है और इसने बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेलिंग की, और धीरे धीरे जब ये शिप पुराना हो गया तो ये रिपेयर मांगने लगा और हमने एक एक करके इसका पार्ट रिप्लेस कर दिया. ठीक है, तो अब वो पूछ रहा है क्या ये वही ओरिजिनल शिप है या नया शिप बन गया. व्हाट इज़ योर व्यू? Is it a new ship or the old ship? Not a new ship, but the updated version of old one. See, we will talk about the three views. Okay, first is materialistic view. In simple term, materialistic view, purpose view, and third is gradual change. So now there is no perfect answer for this paradox of Theseus ship, but there are three things on which basis we are answering the question. First is materialistic view. Those people who look at things in a materialistic way, like all the planks of the ship and all the parts of the ship were replaced, now it is a new ship. If we talk about from the point of view of materialism, then it is a new ship. Okay. Purpose. What was the purpose of ship when Theseus started sailing? The purpose is same still after repair and wear and tear and or replacing all the items. The purpose is same. So it is the old ship only. Okay, and gradual change means that everything needs to change gradually, whether it is material or individual. Change is a natural process, and even after change, the purpose of the ship doesn't change. Okay, so change is a natural process and cannot be ignored, whether it is material like ship also. So it is the same ship. Okay, because with change in nature and things, the original purpose doesn't change. Okay. Yeah, it's unsolvable, but I asked you what are your views. Paradox is a paradox because there are various views over the particular problem. Okay, and every problems and every view looks like the true answer. Okay, if you ignore these two, ये ठीक लगेगा. If you ignore these two, ये ठीक लगेगा. अगर इन दोनों को ignore किया तो ये भी ठीक लगेगा. Okay, that's why it is a paradox. So ship A, the original ship, now entirely made of new parts, and ship B, the new ship constructed from the original planks. So this paradox has puzzled philosophers for centuries. sparking debates about the essence of things, the relationship between parts and whole, and the very meaning of identity. And there is no easy answer, and different thinkers have proposed various solutions. The only purpose of giving you this paradox is that this is a very famous paradox of Thomas Hobbes, and it can be asked in 1 mark question like paradox thesis ship paradox is related to which philosopher. Okay, so ये views हैं functional, formist and materialistic view जो हमने डिस्कस कर ली है. ठीक है, जॉन लॉकी. थोड़ा सा ही एथिक्स बचा है हमारा जॉन लॉकी के बाद. इसके बाद ज़्यादा कुछ याद करने के लिए नहीं है, सिर्फ समझने के लिए है. समझना भी थोड़ा थोड़ा है. सो जॉन लॉकी, he is known as the rights of men. He basically worked on that particular thing only. The highly regarded work of John Locke is the 2 treatises of government. Okay, so basically in his work, there was this work, the 2 treatises of government. In this work, because of the political turmoil in the context of exclusion crisis in England, where Parliament attempted to exclude James II. So ये याद नहीं करना आपको कि किसको उन्होंने बाहर निकाला था. ये बेसिकली इसका फाउंडेशन है कि जो ट्रीटीज़ ऑफ गवर्नमेंट जो जॉन लॉकी की है, इस वर्क में बेसिकली ये बोला गया था कि कोई भी गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना एब्सोल्यूट राइट नहीं होना चाहिए कि वो किसी को भी उसकी कंट्री से बाहर निकाल दे. ठीक है, आर्ग्यूइंग दैट पार्लियामेंट कुडंट आर्बिट्रली रिमूव अ राइटफुल किंग एंड फ्रॉम द थ्रोन, एंड लॉकी opposed this on constitutional grounds. So he was the person who focused more on the constitutional concept, okay, in ethics, कि पार्लियामेंट है, गवर्नमेंट है, इनमें एथिक्स क्या है. ठीक है, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जॉन लॉकी ने कहा था कि कोई भी राइटफुल किंग को कोई भी पार्लियामेंट ऐसे ही नहीं निकाल सकती है. दिस वॉज द फाउंडेशन ऑफ हिज वर्क ऑफ 2 treatises of government. Okay, he also said that or argued that however the treaties of civil government, the part of the 2 treaties, इसका ही part है ये, also served as a response to the absolutist theories justifying divine right of kings, particularly Robert Filmer patriarch. So Locke wanted to challenge the idea that monarch had absolute power inherited from God. Okay, सो ये बेसिकली प्रमोट करते थे डेमोक्रेसी को. वो कहते थे कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि जो मोनार्क्स हैं उनके पास इनहेरिटेड कोई पावर है गॉड से, और सिर्फ उन्हीं की जो जनरेशन है वही किंग बनेंगे या वही गवर्नमेंट में आएंगे. ठीक है, सो ही बिलीव दैट द गवर्नमेंट शुड ऑलवेज बी ऑन कंसेंसस basis rather than monarchy. Okay, or the absolute power inherited from the god that was taught in his area. So his famous work, an essay concerning human understanding, which he had started while in France. ठीक है, so ये एक और इनका वर्क है फेमस, इसको याद कर लेना क्या है ये. ठीक है, Locke challenged the notion of innate ideas, arguing that the mind at birth is a tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is basically a blank slate. He believed in the idea that at the time of the birth our mind is basically blank and we can mold the mind of a child in any way we want. Okay, that's why he focused very well on education, because through education he know that the mind of the child can be remolded or molded in our choice, and through sensation and reflection on our sensations we form ideas and build our understanding of the world. So he believed that through reflection means how we respond to a particular situation, and sensation, what we feel about through our senses about a particular situation or experience, are the basis of our knowledge. Okay, Locke identified basically 3 types of ideas: the simple ideas, complex ideas and modes. So simple ideas derive directly from the senses, complex ideas which are basically the combination of simple ideas, and modes, ideas of relationship between other ideas. So modes can be explained as a relationship between simple ideas and complex idea or any other ideas. So relationship between any 2 ideas is known as the modes of relationship. This means that the experience creates simple idea, and as these simple ideas combine, they become more complex and form the knowledge. Ideas can be divided into two categories, primary and secondary. तो जॉन लॉक ये कह रहे हैं कि जब हम कोई भी सिचुएशन को देखते हैं, पहले वो हमें सिंपल तरीके से हम उसे समझते हैं थ्रू आवर सेंसेस, बट बहुत सारी जब सिंपल आइडियाज़ कंबाइन हो जाते हैं वो एक कॉम्प्लेक्स आइडिया बन जाता है, और वो कॉम्प्लेक्स आइडिया के बेसिस पे हम क्या जो रिलेशनशिप है सब में, उसके बेसिस पे हम एक नॉलेज फॉर्म करते हैं, ठीक है, या कोई आइडिया डेवलप होता है. और आइडिया बेसिकली ही कैटेगराइज इन टू things, that is primary, which cannot be separate from the matter and are present regardless of whether a person sees them or not. For example, size, shape and motion. So basically particularly which can be seen, ठीक है, which can be like size क्या है, shape क्या है, materialistic form. And secondary are the separate, which are separate from the matter and are only perceived when the matter is observed, like taste and odor. तो बेसिकली वो कह रहे हैं कि जैसे कोई डिश है, हम देखने में तो अगर उसको देख रहे हैं डिश को सिर्फ, तो वो तो एक प्राइमरी व्यू हो गया देखने का, डैट इज़ हमें पता है कि बाउल में है इतनी क्वांटिटी में, ये शेप है, वो थिक है या सॉलिड है, जो भी उसका फॉर्म ऑफ मैटर है, वो तो प्राइमरी चीज़ हो गई. बट अब वो खाने में कैसी हो देख के पता नहीं चलेगा. सो व्हेन वी विल टेस्ट एंड थ्रू आवर सेंसेस वॉट एवर वी बेस्ड आवर एक्सपीरियंस टू, दैट इज़ नोन एज द सेकेंडरी आइडिया. ओके, क्लियर, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ आइडियाज क्लियर हो गया. Okay. One more important point is that Loki examined the role of language. ये किसी और फिलोसोफर ने नहीं किया. क्वेश्चन वहीं से बनते हैं जो चीज़ डिफरेंट दी हुई होती है, ठीक है. So in shaping our understanding of the world, he argued that language can at times be a source of confusion and error, and emphasized the importance of clear and precise communication. So for communication with the public, the role of language is very, very important. He says that when we want to form a relationship between two countries or whatever, to form a basis of consensus or anything, the language plays a very crucial role. Okay, you might have seen various kings in India also, जिनको बहुत सारे languages आती थी. क्यों? क्योंकि they want a personal touch with the public, कि हाँ that we relate to you also and you also. So knowing language is a very important source of forming basis, okay, in any society. Clear? Now you can ask your doubt. Immanuel Kant हम कल करेंगे, ठीक है. बस इमैनुअल कैंट के बाद आपका कुछ नहीं बचता, थोड़ा बहुत ही पढ़ना है, ठीक है. ये लास्ट हैं जिनके बारे में थोड़ा बहुत याद करना पड़ेगा, बाकी सब हो जाएगा, ठीक है. हाँ, नाउ आई कैन टेक योर क्वेरीज, प्लीज आस्क. मैनेजमेंट में कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ना है. स्किमिंग करोगे तो तुम भी स्किम हो जाओगे फेज़ 2 से, ठीक है. मैनेजमेंट में कुछ नहीं छोड़ना. मैनेजमेंट इज़ दैट सब्जेक्ट इन विच यू शुड ट्राई टू अटेम्प्ट मोस्ट क्वेश्चन, और you should target maximum number, because it is very कंसेप्चुअल बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट, जहाँ से बाहर से कुछ आना का स्कोप तो है नहीं, तो जितना है वही अच्छे से कर लो तो मैक्सिमम मार्क्स ला सकते हो. वन लाइनर और स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन ऑन एथिक्स, ऑब्वियसली इन विच एग्ज़ाम. CSIR में तो आएंगे ही ऐसे, तभी तो आपको कंटेंट नहीं मिलेगा कहीं एथिक्स का. CSIR में तो आएंगे ही ऐसे, या तो वन लाइन आएंगे और या फिलोसफर्स पे आने के ज़्यादा चांसेस हैं, या फिर यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म क्या है, हेडोनिज्म क्या है, कितने क्वेश्चन बन सकते हैं एमसीक्यू के, बहुत सारे बन सकते हैं, ठीक है। केस स्टडी बेस्ड क्वेश्चन इन डिसीजन मेकिंग इन CSIR, yes you can expect a case study question of decision making. नाबार्ड के जैसा डिसीजन मेकिंग आएगा, ठीक है। और पूछो डाउट। मैनेजमेंट एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है आपका RBI में जहाँ से बाहर कुछ नहीं आएगा, ठीक है। मैनेजमेंट को इतना पढ़ो कि कुछ छोड़ ना पाओ, है ना। यस, ऊपर भी किसी ने डाउट पूछा था, कौन वो, ऋषभ आर यू हेयर? आप पूछो अपने डाउट। इफ आई क्लियर CSIR आई विल मीट यू मैम। ओके, प्लीज डू क्लियर। बिल्कुल ज़रूर आइए, क्लियर करके मिलने। ऋषभ का एक डाउट था जो सबसे पहले पूछा था, डैट आई एम अ पेड स्टूडेंट मैम, कुड यू प्लीज़ प्रोवाइड क्रुक्स नोट्स ऑफ एथिक्स एंड मैनेजमेंट। क्रुक नोट्स ऑफ एथिक्स एंड मैनेजमेंट दे दूँगी मैं, ठीक है, मुझे थोड़ा टाइम मिलेगा तो आई विल डेफिनेटली मेक क्रुक्स नोट्स फॉर रिविजन ओनली, ठीक है। लेकिन सिर्फ वो पढ़ के पेपर में मत जाना और फिर मत बोलना आया नहीं उसमें से, दैट विल बी फॉर रिविजन ओनली, ठीक है। सिलेबस बहुत एम्बिगस है और जितना कवर कर सकते थे उतना मैंने करवाया है मैनेजमेंट में और एथिक्स में, ठीक है। और DM में भी हो जाएगा, एक क्लास में हो जाएगा, 1-2 क्लास में, ज़्यादा नहीं है। और कोई डाउट? I will try to include case studies in DM, okay. The syllabus is too wide and unclear on what exactly are we supposed to do. Yes, but we can at least on probability basis prepare our things, okay. कि जो expected है जहाँ से क्वेश्चन वो तो पक्का कर ही लें, है ना। बाकी जो अनएक्सपेक्टेड होगा वो सबके लिए अनएक्सपेक्टेड होगा, लेकिन जो एक्सपेक्टेड है उसमें तो कभी मत छोड़ो। You should not forget that when any exam is tough, it is tough for all and not just for you, okay? तो वहाँ पे अपना पेशेंस मत खो देना कि टफ़ आ गया और मुझे ही नहीं आता, नहीं, वो किसी को नहीं आता है। वहाँ पे जाके बच्चे बोलेंगे थोड़ी मेरे को भी नहीं आता, मेरे को भी नहीं आता, लेकिन बाद में आपको पता चलेगा, ठीक है। वहीं पे आपको बैलेंस बनाना है ऑफ योर माइंड दैट यू नीड टू अटेम्प्ट मोर क्वेश्चन, ओके। यही तो टॉपर्स का और यू कैन से जो सिलेक्शन लेते हैं उनका माइंड सेट ही ऐसा होता है कि कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहा उसको ईगो पे नहीं लेना, स्किप कर दो, टाइम तो बिल्कुल वेस्ट मत करना, ठीक है। वहाँ आपका ईगो टेस्ट नहीं हो रहा, वहाँ ईगो दिखा के क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर भी लोगे तो जॉब से हाथ धो दोगे, है ना। तो ऐसा बिल्कुल मत करना। सेकेंड थिंग इज़ डैट कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं आए तो वो किसी को नहीं आ रहा है, कुछ आउट ऑफ सिलेबस लग रहा है तो सबके लिए आउट ऑफ सिलेबस है, कोई उसको करके नहीं आया होगा, और जो करके आया होगा वो 1-2% लोग होंगे, है ना। तो उसके बेसिस पे तो सिलेक्शन होगा नहीं 1-2 लोगों के बेसिस पे, सबके बेसिस पे होगा ना, मेजॉरिटी बेसिस पे, ठीक है। Okay, so no more queries are there. So I wind up the session here. Thank you all for attending the session. Okay, please keep preparing, and I will provide the subsequent notes that will help you in your preparation. Okay, the supplement notes. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Take care.